I know you covered everything with Kyle Boone.
Everything.
And thank you for that. I was up deep into the night, of course, covering Krzyzewski. Wrote the column on that. I won't go long. The game I thought was, it was incredible. The only thing that it didn't have was it being decided on the last possession. Caleb loves 3. I'm not going to replay the game, but kind of some sights from afterward. It wasn't just on Trevor Keels, but I didn't expect any player to be waiting for Krzyzewski. It wasn't even outside the locker room door, Parrish. It was right out of the public's view as you're going up the ramp in the vomitorium. Keels is waiting for K right there, and he's borderline bawling. He's more than just simply crying. And it looks like he's been in this emotional state for 30, 45, 60 seconds, maybe longer. And I tweeted out the photo, the video, and then people, Krzyzewski briefly interacted with them, and then he kind of tapped him on the shoulder and moved along there. And so then people killed K for that, and I get all that. But that was not all on Keels, man. Mark Williams missed a shot. There were multiple players. It was Mark Williams, Keels, Banchero missed a foul shot. Who was the other one that missed a foul shot? Do you remember? Maybe the chat does. 3 players missed shots down the stretch.
Right.
So it wasn't all on him. So that was the one thing. And the thing that's wild is, and I said this on HQ.
I got an idea. Get a sticker right underneath Guster for Lovers and say, it was Keels' fault. That's the sticker.
Gosh. I never put this detail in a story, but I interviewed, because there was never really an opportunity to do it, but I interviewed Keels one-on-one before the Duke Carolina home game. And I talked to like 6 or 7 Duke players, and no player was more effusive in his praise and basically stating I'm willing to give every single fiber of my being for this man in like a very enthusiastic way. It's how can I not be he was basically talking about how can I not, how can I feel pressure? I'm getting to play for Mike Krzyzewski at Duke in his final season. I will do anything for him. I'm willing to give my body. And he
except make shots.
Well, listen.
I hope it's clear I'm joking around.
I know. Yeah, no, I'll lean into that. But so with that as backdrop, to see Keels, it was not surprising to see him like that. But man, as I was thinking, I was like, after having talked to him and sat with him, I totally got it. And then, Kay wasn't. Did you guys talk any last night about what Kay said at the presser and how he came off and
yeah, it just sort of, I thought he handled it as well as he could handle it. I mean, at this point, let's be serious for a second.
Yeah.
Anything he does is going to get criticized. It doesn't matter. He walked up to Armando Bacot, in the hallway, and put his hand on his chest, and I don't know what was going on there, but
no, he just approached. I shared the photo. He said because here's real quick and then continue. They didn't even want the Carolina players outside the Duke locker room like that because Carolina went first, and you just don't want to have that. Not that anything would have happened, but just if you can separate the parties, that's what you do. And the throng of media was so large that Bacot just happened to be standing directly opposite of when Kay was coming out, and so he came out, and then he just said, Hey, I hope you're okay, man. And you were my player of the year. And then that was pretty much it. And he walked off. And I thought it was a nice moment for Kay.
Yeah, it was designed to be a nice moment. But he put his hand on his chest and sort of rubbed down, and people focused on that. And what is he doing? Rub it on Armando Bacot. I'm I don't know. The guy, he's 75 years old. He was trying to in what has to be maybe not a career low, but a career. That's not the way. Did you see this quote, by the way, that Greg Doyle tweeted?
I did not.
Sunday morning. Okay, so Doyle, who of course used to work with us here at CBS Sports, now he's at the Indianapolis Star, and he wrote a book on Mike Krzyzewski a long time ago, 20, 25 years ago. And by his own acknowledgement, he says the book it's not a good book. You don't want to read it. But he wrote it once upon a time. And it was interesting because there's a quote, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's from Kay, and it's listen, we've never played North Carolina, for a national championship. And I hope we never do, and he said the reason is because, in this place being the Triangle, it would be unbearable for whichever team happened to lose that game. It would be unbearable. And, it sort of contradicts everything he had said leading into this thing. Now, people's opinions and people in general change over a span of 20 to 25 years. So I leave open the possibility that his opinion on that has changed. But once upon a time, he acknowledged that just about the worst thing you could imagine for a Duke or North Carolina coach would be losing a national championship game to that rival. And though that is not technically what happened on Saturday night, he lost the Final Four game to his rival, and it happened to end his career. So in this moment where the guy is, this ain't the way. Keep in mind, Duke was up with 61 seconds to go. This wasn't like you had a lot of time to process. Hey, it's 4 minutes to go. We're down 17. Like, this is over. There was really no time to process. It was just abruptly over, and you lost. And, then he stood on the court and he shook hands with everybody he could. And then he's walking back to the locker room and he sees Armando Bacot and he, stops to say what he said and do what and like people just want to pick this guy apart no matter what he does. I guess the point I was trying to make was that despite people getting the jokes off and whatever, I thought he handled the whole thing about as well as he could handle it. And though he didn't really reflect too much in the post-game press conference, he did have the one soundbite where he said, I'm going to miss being in the arena.
Yeah, it was good.
But I've been in the arena a long time. I'll miss it. He acknowledged I'll miss it. But I did it for a long time. And I know that led because like we even talked about it on March Madness 360 on CBS Sports Network earlier on Sunday. It led to some people wondering, like, will this guy do a Tom Brady and unretire and come back? And I guess my answer to that question would be, you never know.
I
know. But like, I'm only leaving because you do never know.
True.
But I'd be shocked. I mean, the truth is that I don't know if this lines up with what you've been told from all the people you've talked to who are tight with Kay or around the Duke program. He's been ready to not do this for a little while now. And I don't think he only came back to have a retirement tour as much as he came back because he couldn't fathom his career ending in a COVID year where there were no fans inside Cameron. The team missed the NCAA tournament. Oh, by the way, his last game would have been a win in the ACC tournament. And then they get they pop a positive and they can't play their next game. And that's the end of your career. So I don't think he came back because it was like, I have to keep doing this. It was like, I just can't let it in like that. And I've got a good team and I've got a great recruiting class. Let's come back and have as normal of a season as we can have and take it as far as we can take it. And he did that. The guy went to a Final Four. And I know that that's 2 wins short of a national championship, but he went to a 13th Final Four. And I know he hates that it ended that way. Even if he won't acknowledge it in real time, he has to hate that it ended that way. And he'll carry that with him forever. Like that'll bother him on some level forever, but I don't think he's coming back. In fact, I would bet a lot of money that really was the last time he's ever going to coach. And now John Shire is officially the head coach at Duke, and Kay will, I don't know how much of a presence he'll be around Duke, visible at the games. I would say the likelihood is that he won't completely disappear the way he could if he wanted to, but probably won't be as visible as constantly as Roy Williams has been.
I agree. And I thought the way that he handled it, it's about what I expected. I wondered if he might get a little bit more emotional. I mean, there's no question. The fact that, like, and I know you definitely talked about this, so I'm not going to harp on it, but I just want to at least say, like, Carolina has the upper hand on Duke forever. That's it. Doesn't matter. As I wrote, Duke can win the next 3 titles in Shire's first 3 years. It doesn't matter. You ended K with an L at home and in the Final Four the first time. You only get one shot at your first time. The first time you ever met, you did that. Caleb Love, you are for the ages in UNC in that rivalry in college basketball. It was amazing. K handled it afterward, like mostly how I thought he would. Wasn't deep on the retrospectives, as I was told multiple times in recent weeks. K's not disappearing, by the way. He will still have a Sirius XM radio show. He will still be around. He will be a man, though. Somewhat ironically, he's the coach that's the hardest to get to because he's his own brand. And oh, by the way, even if you hate him, you will miss him. College basketball will miss not having this dude. There is no one like him. Calipari's in there, but not the same. Not the same. When he's gone, the sport will be missing something that it's had for the better part of 3 decades. But the way that he, was just my time to talk about my career, like that'll be down the road. I got that. And then I happened to do the HQ hit, went back. He had not left the locker room yet. Dan Gavitt, who runs the tournament, was waiting outside for him for who knows how long that was, but that speaks to Gavitt. Just stand-up dude, one of the best. And then they finally came out, I think it was 11:40 local. I was waiting there. I was talking with one of the Doug Tamaro, an amazing SID at Arizona State. He always volunteers his services at the Final Four. And we were talking, and I was like, listen, if you can just, if you wind up driving Kay to the bus, just let me know what you see or whatever. And he's like, well, we got 4 carts here, so he could go on one of these. And if he goes on one of the other ones, just hop in and we'll follow him. So from a reporting perspective, that was awesome. I was the only one who literally followed Mike Krzyzewski out of the arena, if you will, for the final time. He sat on the cart with his wife, and there were no cameras there. It was just the quiet and kind of the echoes of the stadium. And they dipped out, they got on the bus. Our friends Dane O'Neill and Pat Forty were the only other 2 enterprising scribes that were waiting just to kind of scene grab as I did there. And it is kind of wild how it just, the nature of this tournament, it just, you're done. The finality of it can be so sudden, even on a Final Four stage. And it looked like once he got on the bus, some of the weight of that was like there were a couple of big breaths that he gave, and then he got up and spoke to the team. But it definitely is an image I will never forget. Kind of just, we were trailing probably 15 yards behind their golf cart, just seeing, Mickey lean into him and just seeing him kind of look around and soak in the scene, because he's never getting that again, and I get the jokes, I like, you send him out and I'm here for it. I get it. But, it's also the end of a one-of-a-kind career. And it was pretty wild to, not sharing the photo I took of Kay on the bus there, if you're watching on video right now. But it was, it was certainly something. It was the last time. It was the, 358th time, I think it was. He went out as a loser in a game after, 1,202 wins. And it was, I thought it just amounted to one of the biggest Final Four games ever, if not the biggest on a national semifinal stage. And the ratings reflected that, by the way. Huge numbers on TBS. Again, TBS, not even CBS. The entire country, from a sporting perspective, cared about this one.